Alright guys, got a new update for you. As you've seen, I'm going to multi-port fuel injection. Found this intake manifold from a guy down in Argentina, being my head is from Argentina. You don't have to import stuff. I could have had somebody build this for me, but I love his stuff that he builds down there. It's very simple and to the point, and this came off of a running driving car, and it made a bunch of power. But what you see here is just some simple fuel injector clinic FIC 1000cc injectors. Running down that, I will have a throttle body. It's going to be a 102 millimeter throttle body I'm getting from a buddy. It's going to be a Holly one, so it should be pretty easy to make everything work together. And then on the back side of it, we will have kind of redid some of the ports a little bit. So main vacuum port, intake temperature sensor, and this is going to go directly to my map sensor. You don't want to have your map sensor running off the same vacuum circuit as everything else, because it can maybe in some cases and can throw some stuff off. So in this box, you'll see the Holley HP ECU kit that you can get from EFI Systems Pro. I prefer using those guys because they are better customer service, and also you can call them directly. And unlike Holley, where they spend more time trying to talk to some guy about how their stuff is not working, these guys answer and get you in the ground as fast as they possibly can. So this big old packet you see here is the actual instruction manual or destruction manual, whatever you want to call it. This has every way of how to wire this in there. So I've deleted like at least 20 some odd pages out of this because I don't need to know how to do stuff with an LS, because we're doing this on a classic inline 6 Ford 4.1 liter. So most of this stuff doesn't pertain to me. And most of the wiring that's on here that I've also gotten rid of. If you see my from Legend, I have from my Legend, you can see there's parts that are in here deleted. So I'm going to delete these wires. I marked off my sensors and stuff like that. So all I did was stretch the whole entire wiring harness throughout the living room. Kind of pulled and picked the parts that I need and kind of, wrapped them up in a certain pattern. So when I do go to start pulling wire, I do them all straight. I'm going to try to tuck this new system because the Holley Sniper doesn't allow you to actually hide your wiring. It kind of hangs it all out there for you. You can't do anything about it. But aside from all that, we'll get into the unboxing. This is actually my first unboxing video I've ever done, and I'm actually excited for it. Most of the ECUs I've always ran in the past were ECU Masters, Mega Squirt, Amp-EFIs, MS3 Pro, and a bunch of other ones. All these universal ECU manufacturers are all the same. Now, Amp-EFI is now making all their stuff 100% in America, so that may be a tipping point. The only reason I went with Holley is because the sensors just, the system just works, and it's a little bit cheaper in the actual part. So we'll go through the wiring harness pretty quickly because this is the part that stresses a lot of people out the most. So all it is just two big old honking plugs with a bunch of wires off of it. When you first pull out the box, it's going to look a little bit intimidating. But look, what I always tell people is treat it one wire at a time and get them dressed, and then find out where everything's going to go and what you're going to do with it. Right? So that's what I was talking about with that wiring diagram. You find out which wires you actually truly need. So these two right here, they're just simply shielded pairs of, you could do a crank and a camshaft position sensor setup with this. I'm only going to need the actual one of them. Kind of funnily, or whatever you want to call it, labeled one with a question mark, which is awesome. Might save that for a later day. But I know which one I'm going to use on that one. I just had to do a little bit of reading first. Next one, big old thick guy. It's just a simple wideband wire for a wideband oxygen sensor. Plugs directly into the ECU. You just got to put your own pigtails on there. What I did, I completely dissected this harness. I took all that stupid electrical tape off, all that ridiculous heat shrink tubing they do, because I do not like the way Holley builds their wiring harnesses. They're very, very, very cheap. There are some other guys out there who make wiring harnesses, but being I'm doing this on a car that's not standard, like a Coyote, a small block Ford, big block Chevy, blah, blah, blah. I like to do this. I'd like to do it universal. I almost did pull the plug on getting something that was already terminated, but then I was going to run into the same issue. Is like, I really want this wiring to look extremely clean, and so on and so forth. All right, so we got our first two big ones out the way. They give you a crap ton of wire with these things. All this is just 9 sensors. So that big old hunking piece of wire is just 9 sensors. That's all it is. Or sorry, 9 wires for 3 sensors. You'll see on this plug right here, I have a couple of extra ones I deleted. So I'm not going to completely take them out of the harness just in case if there's anything I want to do in the future, or for some kind of crazy reason I want to go to a Barra or some other kind of engine swap in a late future. I have the options and they're already there for it. The next little portion right here is it's which kind of awesome. The Sniper and Holley ECUs use a white wire for going to your distributor so you can run timing control. This next one, I'm taking up all these wires. I just laid them in here nicely. This is my extra inputs. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use these quite yet. I do want to do a actual functional traction control, so we'll see if there's something I can read about doing that. Next one right here is just a simple bundle of 4 wires. It just looks more intimidating than it actually is. It's just 4 wires. Goes to my throttle position sensor. Idle air control. And then right here we have the injector harness. It's just 6 of them. That's all I need because it's a 6-cylinder engine. And then you have all these extra deleted ones. So it's got the other 2 injector ones in there. It's got the other ignition control wires. I'm not going to be running any coil and plug stuff, but if I want to in the future, it's right there for me so I can add it on later on. And then, as you well know, or you should know by now, red and black means power wires. So I completely dissected this so I can modify this and make it look better inside the car and stuff like that. Just a simple big relay for sending back to the fuel pump, but I probably won't need that anyways because I have my own Aeromotive relay pump back there. And the last 2 wiring harnesses, power and grounds for the ECU, simply plugs directly into the ECU. We'll show you that plug here in a second, and it has a fuse for it, which I will use this because one thing Holley did do, they actually gave you the right size wiring, which mine's already the right size for the Sniper, but it's just good to have not a bunch of butt connectors and stuff in there and whatnot. Not that butt connectors aren't bad, but it's just better to have less. And then EFI Systems Pro has a dongle, essentially, for all you iPhone users out there. You can plug this directly into your ECU and then plug this directly into your Hydra, your HP ECU. A couple of little things in here. It comes with all your plugs. Yes, I do have to build my own plugs, but it's going to look super clean when I'm done with it because I've always done it that way, actually. And then little bag of goodies. You got your oxygen sensor. You got your coolant temperature sensor. It came with the intake temperature sensor. Even get a cool little block off plates, some stickers, and some other BS, and also a 3-bar map sensor. But yeah, that's in that one. And then, so EFI Systems Pro also offers you a different wiring harnesses. So being the standard HP harness kit comes with a different connector. These come with the connectors that I need for mine. So this is EV6s. They just offer it separately, but they didn't accidentally send me the EV1s as well, which are like the old school snap ring style ones, if you guys know what those are. But yeah, it's kind of cool that they have it, and Holley offers it in the whole entire universal kit. So I can make that whole entire run across a fuel rail look pretty pretty clean. And then the last thing right here, what we're all always happy to see is just picking up a big black box out of another box. Holley HP ECU, you've seen a couple of Instagrammers, YouTubers, and all that stuff talk about it. So you got your power plug, you got your 2-plug, you got your barometric sensor. You don't have to do anything with this. This is kind of nice. It gives you the option, what we had to do back in the old days is running 2 map sensors so you can have barometric correction. And anybody who lives in Colorado or high altitude places knows that you really like that, need that kind of stuff. And then comes with a USB port built inside of it, so kind of awesome. Aside from that, guys, I mean, this is going to be a pretty easy peasy setup, I think. I mean, the wiring to do it clean and make it look nice is going to be the hardest part. But aside from that, we're going to make the car look so much cleaner. As you already seen a couple of videos, and if you follow me on Instagram and stuff like that, running the Holley X-Flow Sniper. It's not a carburetor, but as most of you may know by now. And then what I made with the new intake manifold, it does kind of cant up a little bit, so I'll have to tuck this wastegate down in there to have room for my new intake setup that I'm going to do with this. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Talk to you next time.